Alright guys, welcome back. So today I'm going to go ahead and go through how to run this irrigation system. Things you will need on the way that I'm doing it is going to be 1/4 inch irrigation, and you'll need 1/2 inch irrigation hose. You'll need some adapters, and then you'll need a type of water you want. This is just a drip type. I think it's 1/2 gallon per hour. Let's see. So yeah, it's 1/2 gallon per hour, and that is at 15 psi. We're going to be running about 15, but we're also running the soaker hose for the beans. Corn did not come through. We may try to replant, don't know, but we're going to run the soaker hose for the peas. This is a little bit easier. I chose this type. Oh, see if we can focus here. Because I've used several others, and let's see, another one that I do right here. Don't forget your adapters, because it's got some plugs to plug the end off, and then your little taps. This type worked pretty good, but the adjustables I'm not too keen on, because it's constantly trying, when you're setting it up, adjusting them. So you got to get it all set up. And then you have to come back and check every single dripper, because you might loosen or tighten one up over here, and then the one on the other side is not wanting to drip properly. So this one here's a set drip. I don't have to mess with it. I don't have to adjust it. It's just install and go. Here. So how this works, you will take a tool, and this is going to be my tool for today. You will put a hole in your irrigation line, the 1/2 inch, and you will take one of these, and this will pop in to the hole, but then it leaves you an adapter. Actually, this ain't the exact one, is it? It might be. Okay, so that pops in, and then your 1/4 inch line slides on to the end of this. Actually, let's see. Actually, I think it's this one. Yeah, this one's got the barbs on both sides. So the barb will pop in that hole, and then this other end will connect to this, and then I'll cut every so many feet depending on where my plant's at, and I'll install the dripper, and then I will use twist ties to secure it to the base of the dripper. Something else you think about is your water pressure. So here where I'm at, the water pressure is really high, so I do have an adapter. It's a 50 psi, only because I am going to be running soaker hose, which that's going to take a lot of the psi up. I still want a good bit of it to get to the rest of the garden. We're going to try this. If it's if it's too much or not enough, we'll find out. We'll adjust from there. I think the regulators run about $10 to $20 depending on. They do have adjustables, and that might be better for you. Going to cost you more outright, but you don't have to keep buying them, or you can just adjust it until everything's working properly. All right, let me get out here and get some of this together, and I will show you here in a little bit how it works. All right, so here we are. We got our 1/4 inch line. First thing we're going to do, we're going to get where we want that connector at. So one's about right here. So we're going to cut that line. Alright, we got that line. Got that line on one end, and this is the end where the water's going to drip out at. Let's see if you can see it. So right there, see that hole by my thumb? That's where it's going to drip out. So we want to make sure we get that place where we want it to drip at. Let me get this other side connected. Alright, so there we go. We got it where we want it. Now we're going to put a twist tie around right here very loosely, because this plant's going to get thicker as it grows. But we're just going to barely connect it. Not right up against it, but just enough to hold it over this hole to continue irrigating throughout the growth of this plant. Alright, so when we get to the end, we're going to plug the end. You're just going to cut a small piece that'll fit on the water dripper, and then you're going to just put a cap on the end of it. Now you can buy these things, and I'd probably recommend them. versus tying them to the plants. This actually just plant clips right onto it. See if I can do this with one hand. And then you stick it in the ground. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that here. We're just going to push this into the ground the way we want it. And then get our dripper facing the right way. If we can here. And there you go. And that'll hold that dripper right there into place. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that for the cucumbers. Actually, these are the cucumbers and the gourds. These are the loofah gourds. And then we're going to do those all the way down. The as you can see here, the zucchini and the squash, I just kind of tied it to it to hold that dripper into place. But that plant will get big enough to secure it. Whereas the cucumber will not. It's a little bit more flexible. Most of the plants here, I'll be able to just tie it directly to it, and then we'll go from there. All right, so here we are, day 3. So we've got our little holder, and then we've got our little dripper, and then we have an end cap. Now we got the garden's pretty much done here. I did end up having to go to Lowe's and get these hold downs here. Oh, excuse me. It's just like a little U stake to hold these in place. I still have the twist ties over here, but we're gonna do away with that. This just looks a whole lot better because it's kept tighter. So what we're gonna do now is we've got to connect our small lines into our main line, and let me show you how we do that. All right, so first thing we got to do is get this cut to size. We're just gonna, well, that's, we can probably leave it just like that. A little bit of extra. So first thing we got to do is get this, or second thing I should say, is get this plugged in so that we can connect it to this hose here. It's going to be a little tough, but it's been sitting in the sun. This is a hard plastic. You may have to get you some channel locks here. Oh, and don't break it like I just did. Alright, so we got our end put on here, as you can see. Now, take your tool. I'm going to be using a screw because I don't know where my tool went. You're just going to put a small hole. And it's a lot easier when it's been, we'll get it right in there, been sitting in the sun. I say that, you'll hear it pop and then it'll lock in. Continue on there. We've got a few more. We're going to go ahead and knock these out and we'll be back to test it out. Alright, so we did get the irrigation system done, turned it on, and unfortunately the soaker hoses are not going to work. It's not enough pressure, even at full pressure. We got half the garden being watered right now. It's like almost 5 o'clock. Not real worried about it burning anything because the water's going directly on the ground. It's not hitting the leaves. See here, you don't see any water spraying anywhere. The soaker hoses, I got 2 options. Right now I just cut the line right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a connector on here, then I'll put a timer, and then I'll connect that. And I'm going to try that and see if that'll work. And I'll do 30 minutes on one side and 30 minutes on the other to water it. Right now I'm just using a sprinkler. I can't use that right now because it's too much sun on there. So that's what we're going to end up doing. But yeah, so unfortunately it didn't work. I was kind of scared of that. Because it doesn't really specify how much pressure you need for the soaker hoses. It did on these, which was a minimum of 15 psi. But even at 50 psi, some of the stuff in the back was not dripping fast enough. So I decided to go ahead, crank the thing all the way up, take the pressure regulator out of line, and it seemed to be working. Right now I'm just kind of looking over here our Okra has really taken off. As you can see on down there, cucumbers are doing good. We've lost one squash to a vine borer. You can kind of see it over here. Let's see. I attempted to bury it a little bit to see if it'll come back, if it'll take root. It might not. Like I said, you can see it just kind of died on me. I haven't seen any of the vine borer moths yet. I've been trying to watch for them. They'll come out midday though. I've seen them out here during the day. But everything else, these are all the Romas and everything here. These tomatoes haven't really taken off. You can hardly see them. They're still kind of small here, but it usually takes a few weeks, and then they'll start looking like that. Just wanted to keep you updated. It's taking me about week and a half to get this video out. I do apologize. Everything else, like I said, corn didn't grow. I found a 65-day variety. I'm gonna try to plant that, and that right there is actually that and that. Those are actually some seeds that came off of the turnip greens that we planted, and they started growing. We're gonna let that grow. It flowers, and which will help. Let's see, and you can see all the purple holes there. They're coming in nicely. I got to get some stakes put in and run some string to keep them from laying over. We did lose one summer squash. That was my fault. Tragic weed eater accident. But they're looking good other than that. But yeah, so I just wanted to go ahead, update a little bit on here and go ahead and finish this video out. We'll redo that line, and then I'll come back and let you know how it came out. But be watching for part 2. Thanks for watching.